Chisa MDC Chisa. Chisa Harare Chisa. Ezoko. Thank you very much. Thank you. Honorable Vice President, Senator Mwonzora. Honorable Vice President, Chief Ndlovu, Senator Chief Ndlovu. Our National Chairperson, Honorable Morgan Komichi. We call him Matsbaba Abrahama. Our Secretary, our Deputy Chairperson, Baba Gifty Chimanikire, Honorable Chief Gift Chinamanekire. Our Acting Secretary General, Dr. Tapua Mashakada. Our Secretary for our Organizing Secretary, Raino Mashaya. All members of the Standing Committee who are here. Members of the Executive who are here. The Provincial Chairpersons who are here. And all members of the National Council of the MDC. Today we have a full house of the National Council of the MDC. This is the second highest decision-making body of the party between congresses. Their presence here, your presence here, is a clear manifestation that this party is alive and well. For 2 years, the MDC received relentless bashing from the enemies of democracy on Twitter, on Facebook, on WhatsApp. But the MDC remains standing. A luta armata continua. The MDC was formed in 1999 to achieve a number of things for this country. First, it was to achieve a dynamic, inclusive economy and an open democracy and a just society in which the weak and the poor receive a decent living. We were formed to make sure that there are equal opportunities in this country and that there is fair and equitable distribution of national resources. We were also formed to make sure that there was equal representation of women. This is the ratio decidendi of the formation of the MDC. We were formed for a purpose, and that purpose has to be fulfilled. And that purpose will be fulfilled next year in 2023. We have come today to decide on two important things. The first one is to decide on how we are going to tackle 2023 elections with one aim and one aim only, and it is to achieve total victory. I know that some people had written our political epitaph. Some people had written off us as off politically, but they are now eating humble pie. The MDC is on the rise. We have played our part as a party or in the national affairs. I said when I was elected at the Extraordinary Congress that our aim is to make the MDC a responsible and effective political party. We have played our part in the national affairs of Zimbabwe. In the early 2000s, we exposed gross human rights violations against the people of Zimbabwe on the party of ZANU-PF. We advocated, as soon as we were formed, for a democratic, people-driven constitution of Zimbabwe. In 2008, despite the pestilence, despite the persecution, despite the unfairness, we signed the global political agreement for three fundamental reasons. First, to sort out our economy. Secondly, to bring peace in our land. And thirdly, to have a new constitution of Zimbabwe. My predecessor, Morgan Tsvangirai, was able, together with his colleagues, to achieve these objectives. As soon as the MDC joined the government, the lives of the Zimbabwean people went for the better. Our economy stabilized, and we did well. As soon as Morgan Tsvangirai got into government, we brought peace in this country, relative peace, and an end to the bloodletting that had characterized our land. And as soon as Morgan Tsvangirai was able to settle as Prime Minister, we were able to craft a new constitution of Zimbabwe. I am proud to say that I was one of the vehicles through which this party fulfilled that objective. The MDC has played a part since its formation to bringing electoral reforms. For the first time in Zimbabwe, we have a biometric voter registration system. It came as a result of dialogue which was spearheaded by the MDC. When the COVID pandemic struck our land, we were the first political party to advocate for the complete depoliticization of the pandemic. We took our part, we played our part in promoting vaccination on the part of our people. We were derided, we were called names, we were called sellouts, but we prevailed because we knew that we were doing the correct thing. And as a result, we performed well as a nation in fighting the pandemic. We have been advocating for the re-engagement of Zimbabwe with the international community. Zimbabwe cannot prosper in isolation. Zimbabwe must be a friend of the world. Zimbabwe must be a member of the International Committee of Nations, and we have played our part. We have advocated for the removal of sanctions against Zimbabwe, and we recently, through our representatives, talked to the Commonwealth, and we advocated for the readmission of Zimbabwe into the Commonwealth. It is in the best interest of the Zimbabwean people that Zimbabwe is integrated into the Commonwealth. It means we will have access to the Commonwealth scholarships, development grants, Commonwealth games for our athletes, and travel easiness for our people. So it makes sense that we should join the Commonwealth. The MDC wants to take over governmental power through peaceful, democratic, and constitutional means. We then started the process of dialogue. Again, we were derided by those who did not know much about the affairs of this nation. We were called names. We were derided on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on WhatsApp. But I'm happy to say, as we stand today, civil society has accepted dialogue. The churches have accepted dialogue. My brother, Advocate Nelson Chamisa, has accepted dialogue. My brother, Xavier Kasukwere, only recently talked about dialogue. That is the way to go, my brothers. There is no other way. Accept dialogue in this country. You know, as usual, the MDC has led the way. I am happy to advise the National Council that the MDC is involved in a low-key dialogue spearheaded by the Zimbabwean Institute. And it is dialoguing with ZANU-PF, Triple C, and of course, the MDC. It's MDC, Triple C, and ZANU-PF. And they are involved in dialogue to deal with electoral reforms. They are involved in dialogue to deal with peace when it comes to election. And we are happy to say that this was an initiative of the MDC. And the three political parties met in Kariba to talk about electoral reforms. The three political parties met in Kadoma. The three political parties were able to meet the ZEC chairperson, Justice Chigumba. And we have been able to force the government to accept, to invite the political parties to input on what should be there to ensure free and fair elections. Therefore, the MDC has done well. The statesmanship, the statesmanship of the MDC is therefore all to see. I want to pay special tribute to my fellow leaders in the Presidium, Engineer Mzuri, Senator Gyovu, and Senator Komichi. We have held this party together. The MDC was used to splitting every time they had disagreements. But we have been able to hold this party together. And under our watch, the MDC is never going to split again. We are going to the 2023 elections. And here are a few things that we have done. First of all, we are restructuring our party to make sure that our structures are strong. We are different from other political parties who have started with the mass and are coming to structure. We are starting with the structure and going to the mass. We are constructing this beautiful human being by starting with the skeleton, the bones, and then putting the flesh. We are going to win. We are happy that we are 75% through with our structures. We pay tribute to the organizing department for organizing these small meetings to construct our structures. So we have done very, very well. We have procured our printing machine here at the MDC. Now we have a machine that can print 45,000 flyers a day. We have it here at the MDC, and we are going to do our printing here at the MDC. We are going to start our newspaper once again, the changing times. And our printing press is here at the MDC, and we will be starting very, very soon. This is in preparation for 2023. We have agreed as the leadership in the standing committee, in the national executive, that we must procure, as a starting point, we must procure the 12 vehicles for each province to be used by each province. We also have agreed that we must complete our candidate selection by end of January next year. We are going to field 100%. We are going to field 1,958 council candidates. We are going to field 210 constituency MPs. And of course, we are going to field the president. And in that regard, victory is certain. We are also in the process of recovering our properties. Our properties are being occupied by people who were formed before and well after our properties were procured. We have recovered our properties in Bindura, we have recovered in Chinoi, Kwekwe, and we have won our case regarding Guero. So we are left with taking over our properties, which are in Gwanda, Wange, and Blawai. The property in Blawai, Sizaitata Ngenkani. Whereas all these properties took us a lot of trouble to repossess. We are going to repossess Blawayo in half a day. It's going to be the easiest. And it's going to be the most spectacular. Now, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, we advocate for peace. We want a peaceful election. And we want an election which will bring a new political system. A new political system that is not based on ranga, acrimony, and violence. A new political system that is based on rational disputation and tolerance. And we are going to achieve that. As we prepare for our national council debate, let me pay tribute to our parliamentarians who have done well in parliament. And Honorable Mashakada in the Pan-African Parliament, you continue to shine. Honorable Muzuri, you continue to shine. He was in Mozambique the other day. Honorable Mpariwa, right now she's out of the country. She has been with us. She has been representing the country at many international fora. And Honorable Yvonne Msarurwa, our representative on climate change. She has been all over the country representing as well. She is a manifestation of our desire as the MDC, our seriousness as the MDC to promote the girl child. In our Congress, which we are going to hold very, very soon, there are a number of constitutional amendments that have been proposed. One of them includes gender equality in all organs of the party, as is contained in our constitution. Now here I must acknowledge source. We say when you say something and it sounds smart, you mustn't pretend that it came from you if it didn't. I want to acknowledge source, to Honorable Vincent Changrai for coming up with that idea in the National Council, in the National Executive. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that today we embark on our democratic process. As the MDC, we are going to be having our Congress. And we have said that in this Congress, all members of the party are allowed to contest any position. We have our values in our constitution. We have said that it is the right of any person in the MDC, any member of the MDC, to aspire for any position and to be allowed to contest any position. We will not be disqualifying anyone in this National Council. The MDC is a democratic party, but of course it has got its rules and its regulations. I see my friend Jamba Jecha is very, very happy today. We are family. We are the MDC. We are leading when it comes to rational disputation and tolerance. Of course, there are rules and regulations. On that note, I want to thank you, and I would like us to excuse the press as we go to the other issues that are internal. Thank you very much.